This colony is like Warhammer 40k. Just masses of humanity constantly trying to breach the walls. It's just non-stop at this point, the onslaught of human bodies that keep approaching this base. It seems that no matter how many I kill, they keep multiplying in number. We do have sort of a inner kill box with turrets set up, so we are able to deal with this raid pretty well. Flamingo gets caught out a little bit though. She wasn't drafted, so this guy chases her up north, but luckily falls into the spike traps. This setup works real well. They have to cross the fence line to get in. We're trying to get a few more colonists in here though, and that's what this video is about. Sort of the last of the people that will top off this colony before we try to do the final mission. Work on our royal throne room and bedroom in order to get them up to standard so that the Empire will give us passage off-world. But I'm thinking this guy Victor might help us out. He's a psychopath and his shooting is 11, so I mean you couldn't ask for a more perfect soldier, I think. And then we have a couple other people that we'll try to recruit in a little bit. In the meantime though, we gotta keep our children from getting malnourished and sick. That's because Sweetlow, our best chef, was kidnapped in the last video, and we had to have Flamingo start cooking, and well, you know what happens when a new cook starts cooking. She gets everyone sick, because this is what happened last video with Sweetlow. Unfortunately, this raid catches me completely off guard, and they down Sweetlow while she's out cutting down trees. So unfortunately we lose her, and we don't even fight this raid. They just walk off with her body. So we are trying to recruit the perfect soldiers and also make the perfect soldiers. We're gonna need more help now that Sweetlow's gone. But this is Chewy, and he's growing up. Shooting inspiration, medical. He's a fast learner. Eventually all our kids get the tough trait as well, which is a pretty awesome trait. They take less damage compared to other people and are extremely hard to kill. What more could you ask for in the Rimworld? Beards is finally done marinating. He's gonna come out now with his fixed eye. He's like, I can see again, thank God. It only took 50 days for him to repair his eye. That's because he got kicked out of the bioregenerator halfway through because of a solar flare. Either way, he's good now, and our kids are growing. They're in the living room reading books. What more could you ask for from your children? There's not much time for peace and learning, though, as another raid is already trying to come approach our base. I've started this new tactic of just put a bunch of traps everywhere and hope for the best that aren't even in the kill box. And it actually turns out to be pretty effective. I get a lot of them just on these random traps that are kind of set on the edge of the mountain, on the edge of my base. I put them where they just normally path to, and it worked out well. The pigs are like, what are you doing, dude? You're waking us up. But these breachers are very confused. They're just like chopping randomly at my base wherever. There's guys inside of my base that are trying to break out of my base. Not sure exactly what those guys think they're doing. And there's not much rhyme or reason to where they're trying to breach. The previous raid at the beginning of the video, they came in the west wall, which has been pretty common on this colony. But this raid was like very confused. I think part of it has to do with how silly my walls are. I've constructed them kind of like castle walls, I guess. I have pieces just kind of sticking out, and I have these little embrasures all around my base that kind of confuse them. You can kind of see that, kind of neat. I like it too because it makes my base look cool, if for no other reason, but I think it's kind of funny too. I think it throws off the AI a little bit, and they're not sure which walls to break down. That's a complete theory that's totally not founded in reality. I just made it up, but I think it might be true. I'm not sure. I mean, one of the guys was just breaking down a random wall that was sticking out, so I guess in that way it must be somewhat true. But yeah, it looks pretty sweet, right? I got my walls kind of spiked out, ready for defense. They're bristling. As time passes, the base gets more bristly. it's like a thorn bush, you know? It gets more hardened and ready for action. Just like my children, the more they learn and the faster they grow, the better. That way we can get the heck out of here. I'm trying to take Gola's legs off because I want her to be a meat bag. She's bloodlust and abrasive, so won't make a great colonist, but might make a good hemogen producing factory for me, just like my other gal with the broken spine. That way I can have lots of hemogen stacked up for the coming war. Your pawns recover very quickly if you are able to give them a blood transfusion after they're wounded. We're also trying to use our dead bodies more efficiently by turning our dead raiders into wild boars, because the pigs like to eat the dead bodies. And if you've ever seen the movie Hannibal, which is one of the Silence of the Lamb movies, then you'll know how effective that is. Alright, we got one leg off, and we got a peg leg going on. You have to install a peg leg first and then remove it. You can't just start chopping limbs off for no reason, which is kind of weird. I don't know, you can do everything else in this game. But now she's just a stump. No legs and can produce blood for us, which is excellent. We also have this Bloomalope that was dying to frostbite. And Onisan had the joy of just going in there and slaughtering it. For some reason, Onisan also wanted to eat a meal right next to its dead body. Our people are raiders, though, so they have to keep raiding. And one effective way to raid is to snort a bunch of cocaine right before you do your raid, especially if it's at night. That way your people are nice and awake and ready for battle. My people need to raid. It's in their ethos, otherwise they get mad. So they want to kill people. They also sometimes die or get kidnapped, but that's okay. I use their marsh actually pretty effectively to draw them out. The cool thing about the marsh is it slows them down and there's no trees in it, so they have no cover. I get them kind of attacking me and then I run behind these trees, and as they come across the open marsh, is a great way to just shoot them down. These tox grenades, when you first see them come out, it feels like they don't do anything, but man, they can mess your people up quick. If you stand in that toxic gas for too long, your lungs will be rotting. Takes a little bit of time, you do have time to move out, but you gotta be fast when that tox gas is hitting you hard. And so we go and see what kind of loot we got, which is a bunch of wood, unfortunately. I really need steel. My colony is very lacking for steel now. I think I was maybe a little reckless with my steel usage in the beginning. We're also trying to take out Gola's lung because we need it for Ingo, our kind prisoner who we're going to recruit. I think that, you know, war and prisoner taking in the Rimworld is kind of like the Native Americans. You want to use every single piece of the body that you can.